Welcome back, everybody. In this module, we're going to take you behind the scenes and actually show you a demonstration of a Freedom Ticket Extra. Now remember, Freedom Ticket Extra is a special add-on to Helium 10. It does cost a little bit of money, but it's a way to actually get access, direct access to me. And what I do is 3 Mondays of every month, I go live and I answer questions. Nothing scripted, nothing set in advance. It's just your questions live. And I try to help you in any way I can. So whatever questions you have about the course or about selling or about your products, you can ask them and I'll do my very best to answer them. And then once a month, we bring in a special guest that does about an hour-long training on a topic that we don't cover in Helium 10. So it could be the latest, coolest new ways to do PPC, or it could be anything. And so we bring those in. And so it's four weeks or a month of additional training that you get. So what I want to do right now is I want to take you behind the scenes and show you a live one that we actually recorded just for you so you can see how it works. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Freedom Ticket Extra for Monday, July 19th, 2021. How is everybody doing out there? I see we've got a good little crowd today. Welcome, Marianne, Oleg, Sina, Sunita, Tina, Mike, Alex, John, Marissa, and several more people logging in. Welcome to everybody. Just want to do a quick check to make sure you can actually hear me. If someone can just give me a quick yes in the question box, just to make sure that you can actually hear me today, that would be great. Marianne says, yes, I can hear. Awesome. So welcome everybody to the Freedom Ticket Extra. If this is your first time, welcome to you. Those of you that are listening on the replay, welcome to you as well. The way this works is if you have a question, there's a little question box down there that you can type it in, and I will do my best to answer it. Don't worry, you don't probably see me on the screen. It's just a white screen that says Freedom Ticket Extra. That's normal. If you don't have any questions for us today, that's okay too. You can just sit back and listen and hopefully pick up a few tips and tricks that the other students are asking. We're typically here anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. It just all depends on your questions. So I will answer every single question. I know most of the answers. I don't know every single answer, but I know most of the answers, so I'll do my best to help you out. If you have a question, please try to keep it succinct and to the point. Don't go on too much in the question because I will read the question back out so everybody else can hear it. And if they get too complicated, it gets hard for everybody else to follow along. So that's how it will work. If you don't want to share any personal information or share your product, if you have a specific question, you can just change the name of the product or change the name of whatever it is that you're selling, and I'll do my best to help you out. All right, I see we have the first questions already coming in from Eli. Eli says, how do you write seller feedback? Amazon removed it from the order page. Eli, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. Are you asking how to contact seller support, or are you asking how to write a seller feedback? I'm not sure what you're asking on that. If you can be a little bit more clear. The seller feedback, just for there's two different types of feedbacks. Eli's saying, how can the customer give seller feedback? The seller feedback should be there. Amazon usually, when they send out a follow-up email, order confirmation, there's usually a link in that order confirmation that will give the customer an opportunity to actually leave a feedback on your seller account. So there's two types of feedbacks. There's reviews. Those are related specifically to the product, and then there's seller feedback, and seller feedback is more related to what you as a seller. So it's more about delivery issues, it's more about ethical issues, versus a review is more about specifics of the product. The product didn't work or it did work. So that's how the seller feedbacks are left. Is usually people click that link and that they get with their order confirmation, or they can also go to your storefront page. So on Amazon, on the listing page, there's a way for them to go to your storefront page, which is the page where it says sold by. And usually on there, a customer can actually leave a seller feedback. Now, if you're logged in on your account and you're not seeing it for one of your products, that's because Amazon's probably not showing it to you because you can't leave your own seller feedback. So if that's the case and you're not seeing it on your own account, try logging out or having a friend log in, and they should be able to see it there. Oleg is asking, which new tips or tricks did you find at the Prosper Show? Oleg, I don't even know who was speaking at the Prosper Show, honestly. I didn't see anybody at the show. And I didn't see any of the presentations. I went to the show for the sole purpose of networking, to hang out in the hallways and to do the morning and evening events, the lunches. So it was more of a meetup with old friends and meet a few new people, new faces, some people that I may have dealt with online but hadn't seen before. So as far as the actual content of the show, I didn't hear a single speaker. And I know some people go and that's their purpose, and that's great. But for me, my whole purpose is a little bit different. So it's more about the networking and building relationships than it is about learning any tips or tricks at the Prosper Show. I am here at the Helium 10 offices right now, so I'm out from Las Vegas. I came to California, so I'm here at Helium 10's office. We're starting to shoot the new Freedom Ticket 3.0, which will be out sometime this fall. So we're starting to shoot that here. So you guys are all being filmed as well right now. No, don't worry, we can't see you. But this session is actually being filmed, and it'll be in the new Freedom Ticket 3.0 as a little demo. So your question may get heard by everybody. So if you got a good question, feel free to type it in. I see a bunch of questions coming in already. Eli's got another one. He says, a customer mistakenly left a negative feedback for a different seller on our page. Is there any way to have it removed? Unfortunately not. No, that sucks when that happens. People get their products mixed up, or they hit the wrong button, or they think they're leaving a feedback for someone else and they actually leave it for you. Amazon refuses to remove those. So unfortunately, it's going to be stuck there. You said the customers opted out of communication, so you can't even reach them. Yeah, unfortunately, there is a way in this case, and this would be maybe an example where you could do it. If you put the words in, when you send them a message, if you put the words important in brackets at the beginning of the message, it will go through even if they've opted out of communication. So this might be a case where Amazon would be okay with you doing that. You don't want to abuse that or use it for just everything, but in this particular case, I would probably put the words important in brackets. That's not parentheses. That's the brackets. They look like a line across, a line down, a line across, and try to get a message that way to them, and see if you can't ask them to help you out there. But other than that, there's not much you can do, unfortunately. Tina says, hi Kevin, I hope you're enjoying Vegas. I launched on the UK platform this last Friday. I started with an automatic campaign only to begin with, and I went straight to the top on page 1 that evening, and within 24 hours, all main 4 keywords for my title on page 1, both sponsored and organically. I still haven't managed that on the US platform yet. I have an influencer organized, and so would you advise to direct traffic immediately? Yeah, I would. If you have an influencer that's already organized to start sending traffic, I would throw as much at it as you can right now. I'd come out with all guns blazing, and I would go ahead and send as much traffic as you can right away. Sorry, my screen is cutting off here to your question. There we go. You said also, would you wait a few weeks to start a manual campaigns or start those now? I would go ahead and start your manual campaigns as well right now. I would the keywords that you're planning on targeting that you've done through your research from Helium 10. I would go ahead and get those going as well. Remember to keep those to not very many keywords per campaign. No more than 5 ideally in a campaign. If you can even do 1 per campaign, that's even better. It gets a little bit harder to manage. You have a lot of campaigns, but no more than 5, and even 1 if you can. Oleg is saying, can I recommend any tools that will estimate sales in Amazon Brazil? No, I don't actually know a tool that actually does Amazon Brazil. I think there might be one out there, but I'm not familiar with one, Oleg, that does the Amazon Brazil right now. It's still a pretty small market. I'm sure there'll be some coming in. I'm sure at some point there's enough demand. Helium 10 will be adding that as well, but I'm not familiar with anybody right now on Brazil. Eli says important in the subject. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Eli, on that, if you can be more clear. You're asking about the thing, or yeah, important. Yeah, in the subject line of your email. Exactly. Important with the brackets around at the beginning and the end of the word. Not the whole subject, just the beginning and end of the word important. Eli is saying, are you allowed to ask customers to remove seller feedback that was a mistake? I would be careful on how you word that with Amazon. I would reach out to that person using that technique with the important, saying, hi, whatever their name is on Amazon. Hi, thanks for leaving a review, but I just want to point out you actually left it on the wrong product. Could you be so kind as to maybe adjust your review and post that to the correct product? Something along those lines. You got to be careful on what you say. But if it's because Amazon might look at it, how do they know if it's the wrong product or not? You know it is. And what proof is there in there that it is the wrong product? So that, do they name the product by name or something like that? That would be something that Amazon would look at if they were to scold you for that. Emery is saying, can I improve my product with adding an accessory? So my product is a millstone blanket, and I want to add millstone cards. But my products are already in Amazon Fulfillment Center. Would you recommend adding the accessory with digital bundling? You could do that with a digitally bundling, where you could add the two together. You have to set up a separate SKU and add those two together. Or in the future, when you do your next run, add that in. But for the time being right now, the only way to do that's going to be to use the bundling, the digital bundling option that Amazon provides, where you can bundle two different SKUs together. Or you could run a promotion as well, or if they buy your blanket, they can get the cards at a heavy, I don't think you can do it totally for free, but they can get them at a heavy discount. That could be another way to do it. Craig is asking, from the My FBA dashboard, Amazon makes recommended restock levels for FBA products. How accurate are those recommendations, and is there any penalty for sending less than they suggest? Those recommendations are usually garbage. I don't, the restock levels that they recommend, now there's a difference between what you're allowed to send. Those are valid. So whatever it says you're allowed to send in X amount, that's your cap, and that's an important number to know. But when Amazon says we recommend you send in this much, I pay zero attention to that, because they don't have any clue what I'm doing, what I'm doing as far as advertising, what I'm doing as far as where my inventory levels is, what promotions I may be running, what keywords I'm trying to target. So they don't know. All they know is based on past data, and their data tends to run behind. So those restock levels, suggested restock levels from Amazon, I 100% ignore. And so as far as, is there a penalty for sending in less than they suggest? No, not at all. Tina says, for the URL to give the influencer, would you recommend Helium10 /gems? Helium10 /gems is a great place to get some URLs. But honestly, most of those don't work very well anymore. Amazon has changed the algorithm quite a bit. So from your influencer, I would try to get them to do a search, find, buy if possible. And just the fact that the link is coming from Instagram or wherever the influencer is going to help you quite a bit. Amazon now has changed the algorithm in the A9 and is really emphasizing social media traffic. In fact, they just announced a new program for brands where it's in beta right now, so I don't know if everybody can sign up for it or not, but where they're actually giving you 10% back, or up to 10, not everybody 10, but up to 10% back for anything that's sent from social media. So if you send someone to your brand page, you have to use what's called attribution. So you have to, it's a little bit more advanced for brands, but you put a little special tag on the end of the link. So the end of the link will have some extra code on it that Amazon gives you if you set it up through the attribution through brand registry. And as long as you've done that, Amazon will actually, I think it takes them a couple months to actually kind of reconcile and give you the money, but they will actually give you a bonus basically for sending traffic from outside, and that includes not just the products that people buy of yours, the link that they came with, anything in your brand that they end up buying, for up to like 2 weeks or something like that. So Amazon is really emphasizing that outside traffic. So if you're going to use Helium 10 gems, I would probably use the Field ASIN one there. That if you're going to use anything from that, but search, find, buy is going to be your best bet. But just the fact, like I said, it's coming from social media is going to help you a lot. James is asking, how can I get brand registered in Germany and use it in the USA? You said that's the fastest way. The best way is with sellertrademarks.com. They're partners with Helium 10, but if you go to sellertrademarks.com and you reach out to them, they can help you get set up in Germany. It usually takes 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit faster. You can pay a rush charge and get a little bit faster, but Germany is the fastest one by far, and then you can use that registered trademark from Germany to get the full benefits in the US. Now you still want to do the US too if you're selling in the US, because it's not going to give you any legal, having a German trademark is only going to give you some of the advantages on Amazon. It's going to open up brand registry, brand analytics, some of the Amazon posts, some of the other features that are only for brands, but it's not going to give you protection if someone knocks you off, or if you have an IP issue, trademark issue, patent issue, something like that. You're still going to need to apply for the US, which can take 9 to 10 months. But that's Germany, though, can get you those extra features much, much faster. Now, Amazon now a lot of times is actually allowing you, if you apply for the US, they're not making you wait all the time until you get the final one, too. So you might check into that as well. Eli says, besides using an old SKU, what do I enter for the product ID when recreating an old listing for it? Link an old inventory, so it links the old inventory and reviews. The UPC or ASIN. No, so if you're recreating an old listing that maybe you've deleted for whatever reason, you want to recreate. The only thing is the SKU. If you enter the UPC or the same ASIN again, you could get errors and conflict errors. So you want to Amazon will assign a new ASIN to it. The UPC, actually, when recreating it, you can use the same UPC, but sometimes that'll give you an error. In the past, I've gotten an error sometimes, and sometimes I haven't. I've had to use a different UPC. But the key is so it ties the reviews and the inventory is the SKU. That's the main thing. It has to be identical. Mike says he hasn't been able to find a product yet. Any suggestions? I don't. That's a pretty wide open question, Mike. I don't know what your budget is, what you're looking for. Finding products to sell on Amazon, you should be able to find a product. I don't know how much you've been looking, but using the tools and the techniques we teach you in Freedom Ticket, you should be able to find a product. So to answer your question on how to find one based on the budget, I can't. I have to know what your budget is and what you're looking for to be able to better answer that. But all the techniques are in the Freedom Ticket to show you how to qualify products and find a product to sell. There's plenty of opportunities out there, thousands of opportunities on Amazon right now that are good opportunities. Tina says, on the US platform where I have finally optimized my listing, my best performing keyword is doing better in broad and phrase than in exact. I have no sales from exact campaigns, but sales in broad and phrase. Is this unusual, as I thought that the objective was to eventually have your best performing keyword in the exact campaign? But it could be just people are outbidding you in the exact. And you're going to take a look at your search term report, Tina, on those broad and phrases. Whatever you have in the exact might be slightly different than what's performing in the broad and phrase. So it could be an extra word or something on it in the broad and phrase. So take a look at that. It could also be how you're bidding. It could also be the competition. James is saying, what do you think is the most difficult thing in doing Amazon business? The most difficult thing in doing Amazon business is cash flow. I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of people, is knowing their numbers and being able to have enough cash to keep things going, especially if they're successful. So I think that's managing your cash flow and have enough money to grow when you're successful. I think is probably the hardest thing, or the most difficult thing, in keeping the Amazon business going. The second one is keeping up with any changes that Amazon makes in the algorithm. Sometimes they'll do things that will penalize you or to make changes, and staying on top of those things can be challenging sometimes as well. But those are the two that I would say. Eli says there's a note to buyer when refunding them. Will that go through even though they've opted out of communication? I believe it does, Eli. I have not personally tested that to say absolutely, but I believe that does go through. And so if you have a question, feel free to type it in the question box. There we go. Eli, nope, that was Eli's last question. Let me see if there's some more questions here. Tina's got another question. She says, when you have long tail keywords in your title that also include the shorter keywords within that phrase, does the algorithm recognize all the keywords individually or just each long tail keyword? So if you have a long tail keyword, like if it's hand sanitizer gel with alcohol, that would be a long tail keyword. Hand sanitizer gel with alcohol. It's like 5 words. And Amazon is going to recognize that whole keyword phrase, and hand sanitizer gel with alcohol. It's also going to recognize hand sanitizer gel and hand sanitizer and sanitizer. So you can break that down. It's going to recognize all those individual words and the individual phrases that those 5 words make up. And then if it's in phrase order, it'll recognize if they're not in that order. So it would recognize hand sanitizer with alcohol gel, for example. In like I'm sorry, not in phrase order, in broad, and like in a broad, it would recognize that. So yeah, everything that's in the title gets a little bit of love and gets recognized in the algorithm. Eli is asking, is ManyChat still hot? Yeah, there's a lot of people still doing ManyChat. There's a lot of people having some issues with it. I think ManyChat is still best for maybe helping with some customer service or some launch. You got to be careful. Amazon is cracking down on some. There's a lot of people misusing ManyChat to incentivize reviews and do things that they shouldn't be doing. But yeah, it's still being used as a tool. Is it as hot as it was a year or two ago? I think it's lost some of its luster, but no, it's still there. Mike is saying, have you increased prices due to shipping costs? Do you think shipping costs is going to go down at all? I have had to increase prices because of the shipping costs. Containers, a 20-foot container used to cost $3,000-$4,000 to send from China to the U.S. Right now, I'm seeing prices from $8,000 to $12,000. So the prices have gone up dramatically on a lot of shipping right now, and I don't see that going down anytime soon. I think it will go down. I don't think it'll ever go back to the $3,000 or $4,000 levels unless enough new ships and demand comes on board. But in the short term, I think those prices are going to stay fairly high. And so you're going to have to either absorb those or increase prices on Amazon. And the disadvantage there is you may be competing against somebody else who shipped in stuff a year ago before prices went high, and they have an advantage over you. But eventually it's going to catch up to everybody. James says, can you spell the rank? James says he's Chinese, so his English is a little bit hard. Can I spell one of the rank services? Yeah, AMZ Rank is one. Rank Falcon, and that's Falcon. Falcon. They just got acquired by one of the aggregators. So I'm not sure if they're taking new clients right now or not, but Rank Falcon, Falcon, or AMZ Rank, or Rank Bell, RANKBELL, or you can use like Rebate Key is another one, and there's a few other ones out there, but those are some of the ones that I would check out, James. Eli says, what's the main benefit of using ManyChat? The main benefit that I've used it for is for launching. just to have some additional traffic and additional sources when I'm launching a new product. I don't actually run the ManyChats myself. I hire a company. I don't want to learn it. I don't want to mess with it. So there's a company called Seller Chatbot that specializes in doing Amazon chatbots. So they're based out of South Africa, but they will run all the Facebook ads for you. They'll set up everything. You just pay them a fee for each one, and they'll do like your search fund buys and run everything for you. And that's who I use. A lot of people like to use them for customer service or to help help create reviews. I'd be very careful though, using them for anything like that. That's a lot of people get in trouble for that. But for using them for a launch, a lot of people are still using that as one component in their strategy for launching. James is saying, is it okay to put an email address on the insert card? Well, Amazon shut down my account for this. It's totally fine to put your email address or your web address on your insert card. The only thing you can put pretty much anything you want on an insert card, except anything that's related to influencing reviews. So you can't put something on there that says you'll give them a gift or you'll give them something if they leave you a 5-star review or anything that influences reviews. You can't say something like, if you have a problem with your product, please contact us. If not, click here and leave us a review. That's influencing a review. That's basically saying if you have a problem, don't go write a 1-star review, contact us. But if you like it, go leave a review. So anything, those kind of things you cannot do. Putting your web address, an email address, your address, anything else you want is totally fine on an insert card. And Amazon's not going to shut you down. It's just when you start messing with influencing reviews is where you have problems. Eli says, when does the holiday shopping period begin? You'll start seeing uptick in October on Amazon. So it's typically early October as things start to slowly rise. The big jump is about mid-November, and the seriousness starts right around Thanksgiving in the U.S., from Thanksgiving till early January. But you'll start seeing it slowly rise in early October and start climbing up. So I guess technically the holiday season, you could say maybe starts around October 1st. That's also why Amazon oftentimes will have rules around October. Anything ordered from October 1st, usually to like January 31st, they give the customers an extra window to return it. So instead of 30 days, they give them sometimes 45 or 60 days, or even sometimes anything bought in that period, depends on the product, anything bought in that time frame is returnable all the way up until the end of January. So some people might buy gifts on October 1st, they can return it all the way to the end of January. Sunita is asking, in Seller Central under keywords, there's a platinum keyword field. What are the benefits of that? What's the difference between search terms and platinum keywords? When do I use platinum keywords? So platinum keywords, you can ignore that, Sunita. Anything you put in there is not going to be used. It's an old legacy thing for some old sellers from like 15 years ago on Amazon. Amazon used to have something where that field made sense, but there's a few people that are still grandfathered in from 15 years ago, so they use that, so they haven't completely taken it away yet. But for all of us that started in the last 10 years or so, that field is not used, so you can just pretty much ignore that. Anything you put in there is not going to really be seen. Mike says he has a review that a customer complained that the item didn't come until 10 days after he ordered it. This was fulfilled by Amazon. Is there anything I can do? If it was on your seller feedback, you could actually raise a claim, and Amazon would strike through it and say this was fulfilled by Amazon. We take responsibility. But if it's on your reviews, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. If you still have the comment feature, you could try to leave a comment there. If you don't have the comment feature, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. No, that's not what you wanted to hear, but that's just Amazon. They don't like messing with reviews in any way. The only time they really ever take reviews off is if they think it was fraudulent, and that's usually in big batches, not one by one case. James says, I get most of my sales from PPC, even though I'm on page 1. Although at the bottom of page 1, people don't click my listing. Does that mean I need to get to a higher place on page 1? So if you're getting for the key, if you have a keyword that you're getting a lot of sales from, and that for the exact same keyword, you're showing up on page 1 but at the bottom, then yeah, a lot of people probably aren't making it to the bottom of page 1. So you're going to need to try to get higher up on page 1. It also could be that a lot of those sales on that keyword are coming from other people's pages or from more variations of that keyword. So you need to take a look at your search term report and see exactly, even though you're bidding on that keyword, if it's a broad or a phrase, maybe that's actually a different keyword that they're actually buying. So double check that as well. Marianne says, I thought that the main image of the product should have a white background. My main competitor's main image is all color, photo, no white background. They're also running sponsored ads. How is that possible? A lot of people don't play by the rules, Marianne. A lot of people, you are supposed to have a white background. Some people don't do that. They'll fill it up with a full color, especially as a book cover or something like that. Those are usually okay. But some people will put graphics in there. They'll put banners. They'll put Christmas trees. They'll put all kinds of stuff. Usually Amazon will catch them and suppress that listing. But there's not much you can do about it. Everybody doesn't play by the rules. So you're saying they're running sponsored ads also with that main image? Yeah, it's there's millions and millions of products on Amazon, so it's very hard for them to police everybody. If you really don't like it, and you could send an email to report-abuse@amazon.com, report-abuse@amazon.com, and they might take a look at it. But also that could come back on you if your competitor finds out that it was you that reported them. You don't want to get in a fight. Do we have any more questions for today? If you got a question, please type it into the question box. Give you guys just a second. Remember, we'll be back here next Monday with, thanks Eli, appreciate your kind words. We'll be back here next Monday with another live Q&A. No problem, Tina. Glad to help you as well. Marianne says, is version 3 of the Freedom Ticket a completely new course? Yes, everything is being reshot from scratch. So every single module is being refilmed. They're being broken down into the shorter. So some of the current modules are a little bit long. So everything is pretty much 30 minutes or less, so you can digest them a little bit easier. There are new modules being added. I think the total, I don't know what the final count is going to be. This could change, but it's more than 150 modules that are in the new Freedom Ticket. There is new material, there's new training, new guest speakers, quite a few new guest speakers, some new stuff from Helium 10. Some of the material is exactly the same. So if you're going through the new Freedom Ticket, we're going to talk about some of the same stuff because it's still relevant, but it's just being slightly different. It's not scripted, so it's not going to be verbatim the same. And then other places it's completely different or been updated with the latest information. Mike says his brother wants to open an account, but we live in the same address. Is there any way he can open his own account? Yeah, you can. My wife and I live at the same address, and we both have our own account. So yeah, you can do that. If you're concerned or have a problem, one of you could go get like a UPS store or a post office box or something like that. But a UPS store has a physical address. You could do something like that if you think it's going to be a problem or Amazon gives you any trouble. But my wife and I both have accounts, and we live at the same address, so it shouldn't be an issue. Sunita says, how can I use Vine? I'm brand registered 3 months ago. I cannot enroll with ASI either. I don't know what ASI is, Sunita. You mean ASIN. So if you're brand registered 3 months ago, the Vine will show up under the advertising or promotions tab. It should be a Vine there where you can actually enroll products. And if you're having trouble with that and you're brand registered, I would open up a support ticket with brandregistry.amazon.com, and maybe there's some sort of bug or flag that they need to switch over in your account, and then you should be good to go. Sometimes brand registry takes a couple weeks for it to propagate to all the other servers on Amazon, and sometimes that doesn't work correctly. So that would be one step if you don't see it there under the advertising and promotions tab. James says, if there is search volume on Amazon, does that mean people need the product? And can I sell it? No, if there's search volume on Amazon, that does not mean that people need it or can you sell it. It depends on the competition, it depends on other keywords related to that search. It depends on the buyer intent. And just because something has a lot of search on Amazon doesn't mean people are buying a lot. And it doesn't mean that just because it has a lot of search, that's a product you should do. There's a lot more to it. If it has a lot of search, it's worth looking into and seeing what are people actually buying and what's their intent on that keyword. And then can you sell it? You're going to have to see, can I buy this product from the manufacturer at a good enough margin? How much competition do I have? How many reviews do they have? There's a number of factors there. Okay, do we have any additional questions for this week? Give you guys just a second to type those in if you do. So James says, what do I mean by buyer intent? Buyer intent is when someone types in a keyword, what are they actually intending to buy? So if someone types in mini security camera, what is their intent when they type in the word mini security camera? And you can often tell what their intent is by what shows up on the page. So mini security camera could mean a little tiny camera that's the size of your thumb that maybe you stick on a bookshelf to spy on the maid to make sure she's not stealing stuff. Or it could mean a camera that you hang outside on your garage to see if someone's walking around outside of your house. So the way you determine buyer intent is what type of products show up on page 1, at the top of page 1 for the results. And that's where you can get the buyer intent. And so those are two different types of mini security cameras, but the buyer intent for that particular keyword is going to be indicated by what appears in the search results on those results. And where you see whichever one is dominant in the search, whichever style. It's like a little small one the size of your thumb, or a big round one that's you have to mount with screws to the wall. That will give you the buyer intent. So if you're planning on selling a little small one that you could hide on your bookshelf, and you type in that keyword for mini security camera, all the results are not showing that. They're showing a one that you screw to the wall above your garage. That means that's not a good keyword for your little tiny one that's the size of a thumb. You need to find other keywords that they're looking for. And it might be like mini spy camera, just by adding the word spy to it, would indicate that it's a little small one the size of your thumb. And that would be the keyword you want to go at. So that's one way that you can tell buyer intent. Mike is asking, do I recommend any PPC agents? I mean, Helium 10 has the ads tool. I would look at that first. As far as agents, I've tried several and they're hit or miss. So I don't like to recommend PPC agents because some people have success with ones that I've used, and then other people don't have success. And the same for me. I have friends that have told me, hey, this particular company knocked it out of the park for us, and then I go try them and they suck. So I don't like to recommend specific PPC agents. But I would start first with the ads tool at Helium 10, and that should be able to help you get going. And it does a lot of the same things a PPC agent would do. All right, I think that's all the questions we have for this week. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Don't forget, we'll be back here again next Monday to answer your questions. So hopefully I hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and enjoy everything. Keep on crushing it, and we'll talk to everybody again next Monday. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Marianne. Appreciate it, everybody. Take care.